Kanchivia Member of Parliament, Mr. Sunday Chanda, titled Introduce a National Heritage and Cultural Weeks, that this House urges the government to introduce a National Heritage and Cultural Week. And on the floor, debating this motion, was Kantansha Member of Parliament, Mr. Anton Mumba.
And still to come, we expect the House to consider the Teaching Profession Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2025 at third reading. And we also expect Kamfinsa Member of Parliament, Mr. Christopher Kangombe, to move a subject of debate on the motion of adjournment titled Address the Deplorable State of Roads in Kitwe District.
Yes, indeed, Matimba. So far the House has considered 2 urgent questions under Standing Order 82, and also 6 questions under Standing Order 80, and the other question lapsed by virtue of a Member of Parliament being absent in the House. And this was question 172, which was supposed to come from Mr. Philemon Twasa Kasanengwa, member of this is question number 172, rather, which was supposed
This question was supposed to come from Kasenengwa Member of Parliament, Mr. Philemon Twasa, and he was supposed to direct his question to the Minister of Energy. He wanted to find out a question in 3 parts, whether the government has any plans to connect the following health centers in Kasenengwa Parliamentary constituency to the national electricity grid. These are Chipembaulo in Mpunza Ward and Luona in Ngongwe Ward. In the other part of the question, he wanted to find out if so, when the plans will be implemented, and if there are no such plans, why.
Yes, indeed, Matimba. So that was the question which lapsed on the floor of the House. The House also did consider other questions and will be able to give you the details. But Matimba, just to remind our viewers that Honor the Vice President did move a government bill titled the disaster, which is disaster.
Good afternoon. You are still watching Parliament television. The bells are ringing. We don't have a quorum in the House. It is a requirement that 1/3 of members of Parliament must be present in the House for any business to transact. And so once the quorum has been formed, we expect business of the House to resume. And at the time, Madam First Deputy Speaker suspended business for a 20 minutes health break, the House was considering a private member's motion that has been moved by Kanchivia Member of Parliament, Mr. Sunday Chanda. This is titled Introduce a National Heritage and Cultural Week, that this House urges the government to introduce a National Heritage and Cultural Week, and this motion has been seconded by Nalolo Member of Parliament, Mr. Imangawa Mnyima. And on the floor of the House, at the time business was being suspended, on the floor of the House was Kantanshi Member of Parliament, Mr. Anthony Mumba. And so when the quorum is formed, we expect him to continue with his debate.
Yes, indeed. So we urge you to stay tuned to Parliament TV, the only station which brings Parliament closer to you. Earlier I was saying that there was a presentation of one government bill by our Honourable Vice President, which is the Disaster Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 1 of 2026. Now we look at the objectives of this bill. The bill seeks to amend the Disaster Management Act so as to integrate risk management in the prevention and the mitigation of a disaster, preparedness and response to a disaster and post-management of a disaster, rename the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit as a National Disaster Risk Management Division, and redefine its functions, rename the National Disaster Management Council as the National Disaster Risk Management Council, rename the National Disaster Management and Technical Committee as the National Disaster Risk Management Technical Committee. Also rename the Provisional Disaster Management Committee as the Provincial Disaster Risk Management Committee. Rename the District Disaster Management Committee as the District Disaster Risk Management Committee and revise its composition. Rename the Satellite Disaster Management Committee as the Satellite Disaster Risk Management Committee and revise its composition and provide for matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing. And Matimba, this has been taken to the Committee on Cabinet Affairs, and the committee is expected to submit its report to the House in the due course.
Madam First Deputy Speaker also did make some announcements when business commenced at 14:30. In one of the announcements, Madam First Deputy Speaker recognized the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Amasabo Trust School Limited in Lusaka District. Madam First Deputy Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, warmly welcomed the visitors to the National Assembly. And in the other announcement, Madam First Deputy Speaker acquainted the House with the presence in the Speaker's gallery of the following staff from Parliament of Malawi. The first one, Mr. Newton Mazeka Banda, Chief Librarian, and Ms. Grace Temwa Bongololo, Principal Research Officer. Madam First Deputy Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, warmly welcomed them to the National Assembly. And in the last announcement, Madam First Deputy Speaker recognized the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Woodford School in Lusaka District. Madam First Deputy Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, warmly welcomed the visitors to the National Assembly. And so bells are still ringing. It seems the quorum hasn't yet been formed. It is a requirement. Just now we take you to the floor of the House.
When business was suspended, the House was considering the private member's motion moved by the Honorable Member for Kachiwia that this House urges government to introduce a National Heritage and Cultural Week, and the Honorable Member for Kantachi had just finished debating. Any further debate? The Honorable Minister of Tourism.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to first of all just thank the proposer, the mover, and the seconder of the motion, Honorable Chanda and Honorable Nalolo is here. I also like to thank other debaters who were for this motion. Mr. Speaker, I just want to thank you for granting me the opportunity to contribute to the debate on the private member's motion entitled, and I quote, "Introduce a National Heritage and Cultural Week," end quote, moved by Mr. Sunday Chanda, Member of Parliament for Kanchiwia constituency, that this House urges the government to introduce a National Heritage and Cultural Week. Mr. Speaker, allow me first of all to thank all honorable members from both sides of the House who debated the motion, and I extend my gratitude to the mover and the seconder, as I had mentioned earlier. Mr. Speaker, nations that preserve their heritage secure their future. I'll repeat, nations that preserve their heritage secure their future. I therefore commend the Honourable Member for Kachiwia constituency for presenting a motion of profound national significance that speaks directly to the character, unity, and long-standing identity for our nation. Our heritage tells us who we are, and safeguarding it is not optional, it is a national responsibility. Mr. Speaker, the motion before this House does not introduce an unfamiliar policy direction. Rather, it strengthens the execution of an existing national mandate. The Republic of Zambia has already entrusted this responsibility to the National Heritage Conservation Commission, which is mandated to identify, protect, conserve, and promote Zambia's cultural and natural heritage for the benefit of the present and future generation. Mr. Speaker, in an era defined by rapid urban expansion, infrastructure development, technological change, and shifting social patterns, we face the risk of gradual erosion of our cultural memory. When memory fades, identity weakens, the national cohesion may be placed at risk. A National Heritage and Cultural Week would therefore provide a structured national platform to strengthen patriotism, promote unity, and facilitate intergenerational knowledge transfer. Such an initiative, Mr. Speaker, would enhance awareness, particularly among young people, of the importance of preserving our culture and historical heritage, while also showcasing Zambia's cultural assets for both domestic and international audiences. Mr. Speaker, this initiative is not only culturally sound, but economically strategic. Across the world, heritage tourism has become one of the fastest growing segments of visitor economy. Countries that have invested in this promotion of their heritage are witnessing increased visitor numbers, expanded local enterprise, and stronger rural economies. Zambia is endowed with heritage that is both profound and globally significant. From the ancient rocks that testifies the early human creativity to the sacred spaces safeguarded by our traditional authorities, the routes that carried the aspirations of our liberation struggle and cultural landscapes that continue to sustain community life. Mr. Speaker, this initiative also presents an opportunity to harness the growing international visibility that Zambia is currently enjoying as a destination of choice for investment, tourism, and authentic experiences. As global travelers increasingly seek meaningful, immersive, and culture-rich destinations, the establishment of the National Heritage and Cultural Week would position Zambia to attract a new and diversified category of visitors. Those drawn not only by natural wonders, but by our history, traditions, creativity, and living cultures. Mr. Speaker, my ministry further notes that the initiative will complement ongoing government efforts to promote sustainable tourism, community participation, and inclusive economic growth in line with national development priorities. It will also enhance collaboration among its key stakeholders, including traditional leadership, cultural institutions, local authorities, artists, the private sector, and cooperating partners. Zambia is richly endowed with diverse cultural heritage, traditions and languages, historical sites, and creative expressions that define our national identity. With the over 73 languages and numerous ethnic groups, our traditional heritage remains a source of pride and unity, as well as a strategic asset for socio-economic development, particularly through tourism. Mr. Speaker, in countries characterized by diversity, a shared period of national celebration creates space for mutual respect and understanding. Citizens learn about one another, stereotypes fade, the national pride grows without erasing the unique identities By institutionalizing a National Heritage and Culture Week, we affirm our collective commitment to preserving and celebrating the heritage of culture and our nation. Mr. Speaker, the following undertakings are proposed to facilitate the introduction of the National Heritage and Culture Week. Number one, a National Heritage and Culture Week be established and commemorated annually during the second last week of May. Two, the Ministry of Tourism, which I gladly sit in today, be tasked with coordinating activities, exhibitions, and educational programs nationwide. Thirdly, partnerships be encouraged with schools, universities, museums, traditional leaders, cultural institutions, and community organizations to ensure inclusive participation. And last but not the least, this national event will highlight both tangible and intangible cultural heritage, be progressively supported with appropriate budget allocation. Mr. Speaker, the House may wish to note that 5th May is observed across the continent as Africa World Heritage Day, reminding us our shared duty to safeguard Africa's irreplaceable treasures. Further, the 25th of May, celebrated as Africa Day, reaffirms collective identity, unity, and destiny for Africans. The selected periods also coincides with favorable weather conditions, an active academic calendar which promotes youth participation, and the opening of the tourism season, marking the month of May an ideal for commemorating the National Heritage and Culture Week. Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, I wish to reiterate that government fully supports the private member's motion. The establishment of the National Heritage Cultural Week is timely, strategic, and nation-building initiative that will preserve Zambia's identity, strengthen unity, promote tourism, enhance international positioning, and inspire pride among our people. I therefore wish to urge this august House to give this motion favorable consideration in national interest. Mr. Speaker, when we preserve our heritage, we preserve the soul of our nation. And the nation that preserves its soul cannot lose its way. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Kanchiwia, wind-up debate.
Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank you most sincerely for the opportunity to bring this private member's motion to this Honourable House. Allow me to thank the executive, the government, for supporting this motion. Allow me to also thank the Honourable Member for Nalolo, Honourable Amunyima. And I can assure him that next time we move such a motion, Mr. Speaker, I'll have a chilundu for him from the north. And I hope that he will manage to deal with it. Mr. Speaker, today I feel so proud that as someone with heritage from the north, I stand before this Honourable House clad in an attire and outfit that is so rich and coming from the West. And I feel more Zambian today. Thank you so much. And I want to place on record, Mr. Speaker, that in every nation, there must be what becomes part of our culture. And even in adorning this Siziba, I would have no reservations, as the Honourable Member for Nalolo did propose, that this is officially part of our culture and our identity. We have seen, Mr. Speaker, that over time, there's Chilangamlilo happening across the cultures and across the tribes. That is formed part of our culture. It is time that the barriers are broken between and among our tribes, that we can look at the best from each culture and embrace and embody that as part of who we are as a people. I want to thank the Honourable Minister of Tourism, and in reaffirming that nations that preserve their heritage indeed preserve their future. This is about today, but it's also about tomorrow. In conclusion, mine is just to thank this Honourable House, thanking my mother, the Honourable, the Right Honourable Vice President, that we're grateful as the people of Kanchiwia that government has supported this motion. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I put the question. The question is that this House urges the government to introduce a National Heritage and Cultural Week. As many as of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. The clerk will now read the order of the day.
The Teaching Profession Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2025, third reading.
The Honourable Minister of Education.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the bill be now read the third time.
The question is that the bill now be read the third time. Any debate, any objection? The question is agreed to. Let the bill be read the third time.
The Teaching Profession Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2025.
Her Honor the Vice President, adjournment.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the House now adjourns.
Notice of an item for debate on the motion of adjournment of the House has been received. The Honorable Member for Kafinsa.
Mr. Speaker, once again, thank you for the opportunity to make a few comments on the need to address the deplorable state of roads in our city called Kitwe. Mr. Speaker, even as I stand here, I want to indicate that I am a bearer of a message from my constituency, Kamfinsa, where the current state of roads, Mr. Speaker, is quite deplorable. And as a responsible member of Parliament, I have taken the liberty to engage the minister responsible for local government. I have also taken the liberty, Mr. Speaker, to engage the minister responsible for infrastructure on the bad state of roads in our city. And I'm using Kamfinsa as an example, Mr. Speaker, because Kitwe is a city of 5 constituencies with a population officially, according to the statistical office, standing at 660,000 people as at 2022, and projected, Mr. Speaker, that by 2026, the population will be 850,000. Mr. Speaker, the money that government has to spend on road infrastructure equally has to be seen to be working for the people of Kitwe, particularly places that may not have seen roads being worked on for many years. I have been overwhelmed, Mr. Speaker, with messages, with communication from residents across the city that convey this message to government, that the state of roads in the second largest city in Zambia, the state, Mr. Speaker, leaves much to be desired. And today, Mr. Speaker, I thought that I could begin by requesting that as we consider priorities for funding in terms of roadworks, I think that a city which has got this huge population and which has a historical place in our economic affairs as a country, mining, Mr. Speaker, started in the beautiful city of Kitwe. The year 1930, I'm sure the Minister of Infrastructure, having worked in the mines, you remember that the year 1930 was the year that mining began in Kitwe at a shaft called Nkana. And people have been asking themselves, if so much has happened in terms of economic contribution to our country, to the GDP of Zambia, obviously the state of roads, Mr. Speaker, should show that this is a city called Kitwe. We have seen that so much money has been spent in our capital city, Lusaka, because obviously it's the face of our country. But we need to also begin asking ourselves, how much money do we take into the other cities that have got huge populations? If you are using Independence Avenue, for instance, leaving town going to Chingola, the state of road is a mess. No one will pass through Kitwe, Mr. Speaker, without using Independence Avenue. And the people are asking us, parliamentarians, please convey this message to government, because ultimately government has to decide how the money will be spent. I'm aware, for instance, that the people of Chimwemwe, where we have a road called Vanadium Road, connecting Chimwemwe and east of Ganaton, the road is deplorable, and people there are conveying this message through their member of parliament, through myself, and through the other 4 parliamentarians, that please convey this message, that Kitwe deserves a fair share of the roads that have to be done. I know, for instance, that all of us here, once in a while, we have to connect through Kitwe, and you know, Mr. Speaker, that the average distance between Kitwe and all the 9 districts that are surrounding Kitwe, the average is 55 kilometers. Between Kitwe and Ndola, you add your distance. Between Kitwe and Kalulushi, you add your distance, and you did the average. The average is 55 kilometers, meaning Kitwe is centrally located. And here I am today, Mr. Speaker, not only speaking on behalf of the people of Kamfinsa, because for Kamfinsa, we know that, for instance, the road from Miseshi going into Ndeke Changa, which is Nakambala Road, is in a deplorable state. This is a message I've already conveyed to the minister responsible. And at the end of the day, the minister will not provide us with a contractor if resources are not released by Ministry of Finance. And that is why today, Mr. Speaker, the conversation is how can we make Kitwe a priority in terms of allocation in terms of roadworks in our city. The people of Ndeke village are watching this conversation. They are asking MP, please emphasize the need for us to consider that Kitwe should be considered in terms of roadworks. And that is my simple message today. My message is that the provincial capital, Ndola, we've seen some roadworks taking place. What about our beautiful city of Kitwe? We want a fair share of the allocation in terms of resources. And my message today, and I'm happy that our Honor the Vice President, leader of government business, is still with us as late as 1723, listening to the demands of our people. Our people are asking for a fair share of our roads, Mr. Speaker. Our duty as government, our duty as parliament, our duty is to remind the executive arm that as you prioritize how much money should go to Ndola, how much money should go to Luansha, we must consider how much money should we give a city with 5 constituencies, a city with a huge population, a city that has got a history of providing the first economic opportunities for our country, where mining began. And here I am today, Mr. Speaker, without exhausting my 10 minutes. My message to government is that as you prioritize money that has to be done for roadworks, Kitwe is a priority. The people of Kamfinsa Farm Block, for you to go to Kamfinsa Correctional Facility, for you to go to Kamfinsa Training Station where the police are trained, the state of that road is deplorable. Can we use constituency development funds to do a road in terms of bituminous standard? Mr. Speaker, it is not possible. CDF will use it for other priorities, such as grading a road. Those we can do with local resources. But to do a road to bituminous standard, Mr. Speaker, the people are asking that government allocates money towards roadworks, and we want bituminous standard roads. How many kilometers do we need? Of course, I can mention the number of kilometers, but I know government may not be able to do everything. But at least the key roads, the roads going to public institutions, the roads going to health facilities, Independence Avenue, Nakambala Avenue, roads in Nkana West, roads in Chimwemwe, roads in Usakile. Mr. Speaker, we are demanding a fair share of resources for our roads to be done in our 5 constituencies. The people of Kamfinsa have spoken on behalf of the 5 constituencies. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Zambezi East.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to debate the motion that has been moved by the Honourable Member for Kamfinsa on the motion of adjournment. Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Member for Kamfinsa is passionately debating the state of the roads in a town where his constituency is premised. And I believe what you've heard from the plains is the same as what you hear from the thicket. The state of the roads in Kitwe are not different from the way the state of the roads in Ndola are. And this is not like an event that has happened today only. This has been progressive and most importantly due to some level of carelessness, especially in the previous regime. We are where we are because of the carelessness of the PF regime. And we need to accept this. If we don't accept it from the outset, we will be debating in futility without us understanding. When PF took over the reins of this country, they found a very sound economy. And may his soul rest in peace. President Lupia Banda left a very, very sound economy at the time that PF took over. And if we continued on that trajectory, this debate wouldn't even see the face of the floor of this House. And we need to be understanding these things in that perspective and be honest to ourselves. Then we'll be debating meaningfully. It's good to showcase how that you are speaking for the people you represent. But it's another thing to understand the economic dynamics that would bring this nice to have. We all want good roads. I can also passionately speak about the people of Katonto because the road from Chilenga to Dipalata, Nyakulenga, Katonto, and reaching Dikolonga is in a deplorable state. Those are Zambians. We can't do everything at the same time. It's been in public domain how that we have struggled to even rearrange this economy because of the recklessness that happened in the previous regime. You put us into serious debt, which we have just concluded actually restructuring. We are beyond 94% in restructuring that debt. And this has been a mammoth task, in fact, in a record time, meaning we are very reasonable people who are looking at the future. We will definitely do those deplorable roads in Kitwe. However, first things first, mend the economy. But we have not just sat back. Under such difficult circumstances, we've thought around, what can we do in order for some of these pieces of infrastructure to be dealt with? That's why we had to have a fallback on the PPP model. Look at the Ndola-Lusaka dual carriageway. We are doing such works. And to talk about Kitwe, how about the Chibuluma Road, which was also in a deplorable state? You have at least received the Chibuluma Road. But how about the people of Chitokoloki and Impidi? Up to now, we are still waiting. But we are not crying out loud the way you are doing it. So, Honorable Speaker, before, I have a lot of respect for the Honorable Member for Kamfinsa for coming out like that, speaking for his people. And him being an economist, he should be better placed to understand the state of the economy then and why we are where we are. The Honorable Member is an economist, with due respect. He's an engineer, but he is a qualified economist from the University of Zambia. So he's better placed to understand these things because he's a scholar of economic policy. He must understand and he knows where we are. So for now, honestly speaking, what you should have been doing is to actually help government to find means and ways of managing the situation of the economy which was placed in this state by the same government that brought you here in this house. The same party, the PF, which party you belong to. These are the issues, the honest conversations, Mr. Speaker, we should be having. Other than just bringing in nice motions and when we debate, then the people of Ndeke Township would think our member of parliament has been speaking. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to extend my profound gratitude for according me this opportunity to debate on the motion of adjournment of an urgent matter of public importance on the plans the government of the Republic of Zambia has on roads in Kitwe district. Let me preface my continued debate on first of all reminding the House and reminding the Honorable Member for Kamfinsa that when a country is operating normally, in other words, the economy is firing on all four cylinders and so on, responsibility for undertaking works in township roads lies with the local authority within which that town resides. They raise money from rates, from all sorts of things, and the part of the responsibility to make sure that the services in the town are provided for. Normally, it is not central government that does that. Just to remind the Honorable Member who has moved this motion that in his previous life before he came here, he was mayor of that city. Well, it's still in bad condition. That's why this motion is here. The New Dawn government, under the leadership of Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, President of the Republic of Zambia, completed, we're talking about Kitwe, the first ever concrete road in Kitwe district. That's the 7-kilometer of Chiruma Road, which was completed in June 2025 at a total cost of 139 million kwacha. This is now open to traffic. It was in bad condition. Further, under the Ministry of Local Government, I'm sure my brother there will emphasize on this, government is implementing the project for the rehabilitation and upgrading of 16.5 kilometers of urban roads in Kitwe City at a total cost of 516 million kwacha. So far, the contractor has paved 3.3 kilometers, representing 30% physical progress. The ministry is considering adding some more kilometers, funds permitting. Mr. Speaker, may I take this opportunity to inform the House that on the Copperbelt Province government, through the Lusaka Dual Carriageway project being undertaken under the PPP financing, has extended the construction and the rehabilitation of urban roads in Luansha and in Dola. The groundbreaking ceremony took place in October 2025, and the works are expected to commence soon after the rain season. With respect to Kitwe, but the notion is given that maybe this government ignores Kitwe or is ignoring Kitwe. That's far from the truth. We all know Kitwe. We all love Kitwe. The road that has been mentioned from Kitwe to Ganaton or Itimpi, Banedia, I had property on that road that passes through Patasha and the race course. Even in those days, the road outside Ganaton was in bad condition. The point I'm making is we are dealing with a difficult situation where the conditions of roads have been bad for a long time. This administration is beginning the process of addressing these issues, together with sourcing funds for addressing the issues. For example, among the roads that need to be addressed is the one from Ndora itself, through Kitwe, passing through the Independence Avenue that he's talking about, and all the way to Chingola. Even though this was done recently by the previous administration, it's already showing signs of premature failure. So we have to address that. We have to address that. And when that is done, and this New Dawn government has begun the process, when that is done, like we have done with other towns where we do major roads that pass through, there will be kilometers that are left in the township roads of Kitwe, including, of course, the Independence Avenue from town all the way to Chimwemwe, maybe to the railway line across Chimwemwe. But if you want really to know, because we don't take things in isolation, like my brother here, the honorable member for Zambezi East has said, conditions of roads in our towns is not just Kitwe. Many of you MPs here can attest to the fact that even in your own areas, there is urgent need. So to give the impression that it's only Kitwe that's being left behind is being disingenuous. What have we done in other towns? When we did the Chingola-Kasumbalesa road, we left some kilometers in Chilabombwe and in Chingola. But in addition to those kilometers that we left, the mining town, the mining company that is operating those towns also put in some kilometers. This is dependent upon members of parliament, local leaders, having a good relationship with the mining companies or the companies that operate so that they also put something meaningful. In this respect, in addition to what we are doing, the Minister of Local Government is doing engagement with the mining companies that operate in Kitwe would help. And that engagement will not come as a result of a debate here. It will come as a result of visiting them, sitting with them, highlighting the issues with them so that they can also come on board. If you look at, for example, in Mufulira, where members like Honorable Gordon Mwira comes from. The border infrastructure in Sakanya and so on has resulted in some kilometers that we have left in Dola. Okay. And now we are doing the Mokambo to Mufrea Road, which will leave some more kilometers within the town center. The point, Mr. Speaker, that we are making is let us understand that the infrastructure we have in Zambia, as the economy deteriorates in any nation, the first thing that suffers is infrastructure. This is without any debate. That's what suffers. I remember a time when we used to go to Kasumbalesa, when I was some of your ages there, to go and socialize. And we used to laugh at the potholes that we saw. Yes. You're too young to remember. So, I remember a time, 1989, leading a delegation into Dar es Salaam and seeing how bad the road network there was. And we looked back at Zambia and said, what happened to this country? Why are they like that? Now, the situation is reversed. You go there, you admire the roads in Dar es Salaam. What this means is if you have a serious government, such as what you have now, these matters will be addressed. But some of these motions are brought to indicate that maybe if those people were back in power, they would do these things, they would borrow money, okay, irresponsibly. This new Dawn government has said, we are going to repair this economy. We are repairing this economy, but in a systematic manner. When you see the kwacha appreciating, inflation falling down, reserves going up, it's an indication that this economy is being repaired. The growth of this economy will result in so many resources that will allow us to use our own resources to repair our infrastructure, to spend money on social services such as education and health, and looking after the vulnerables in our societies. This is what we are going to do. In the meantime, we want people to understand that we are not neglecting them. Where we can undertake some works, we shall definitely do that. Kitwe, as the Honorable Member has noted, has contributed immensely to the development of this country. Over the years, both in terms of the resources coming out of the copper mines, in terms of entertainment, even the football teams that were there in Kitwe, like Nkana Red Devils, like Kitwe United, like Power Dynamos. We know their contribution. We shall not neglect them. But resources have to be made available. This is what we are doing in the economy, making the resources available. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order. We still have a few minutes before the 30 minutes elapses. The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for according me this opportunity to debate the adjournment motion. First and foremost, Mr. Speaker, I would like to appreciate the Honorable Member of Parliament for Kafinsa for having voted for Bill 7, which is now Act number 13 of 2025. Mr. Speaker, I'm saying so, for I tend to think that the Honorable Member of Parliament wanted more constituencies in Kitwe so that there could be more money arising from CDF in order to do the roads in Kitwe. I thank you for that. Unfortunately, They are your colleagues, Honorable Member of Parliament for Kafinsa, who did not vote for Bill 7 and who do not want more money to be applied in the constituencies in Kitwe. We have Nkana constituency, where the roads you are talking about are found. The Honorable Member has had an opportunity to work with government, create more constituencies, so that more money is brought into Kitwe, so that Kitwe roads are worked upon by honorable members of Parliament. We are also aware, Mr. Speaker, that there are members of Parliament in Kitwe district who deliberately delayed the purchasing of road equipment. There are members of Parliament who did not want to use CDF for the benefit of the people of Kitwe. Unlike our colleagues in Mufrira, they worked together, collectively bought equipment, and they started working on the roads. And we thought that our colleagues in Kitwe would do the same. Last year, Madam Vice President, they had 18 million through CDF. If they were working together, they would have worked on some of the major roads in Kitwe using CDF. But because of their intentions of wanting this government to fail, they decided not to do anything. But I would like to tell the people of Kitwe that for those MPs who did not want to use CDF, please, they will be retiring on the 13th of... No, not even on August. There's even adoptions, the people of Kitwe will refuse them to be adopted. So as you stand to work for the people of Zambia, developmental matters are non-political. Continue. They should be supported in every aspect. That is why we are here. There are issues which you should not bring in political considerations. But we are aware. The colleague behind you who is not there, he has always been negative. Yourself, you have realized that for you to save the people of Zambia, you have to work with the government pertaining to development. And that is why I hear the people of Kafinsa are looking at you favorably because they think that you are going to work with us. So, if you take that route, we will see you again. And if you take that route, you will not be that side. You will be with us here. So please, keep it up. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order. Order, order. Yes, yes. No, it's a wise counsel for first-time MPs that veterans, when they're speaking, you should listen. As 30 minutes allocated for the debate on the subject has elapsed, the motion also elapses. Her Honor, the Vice President, adjournment. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. The House is now adjourned.
Good evening. Thank you so much. In Parliamentary TV, and the House has just adjourned, so many business commences tomorrow at 14:30 hours. The time now to take a look at the business which has been transacted on the floor of the House today, 11th of February 2025.
When business commenced at 14:30, Madam First Deputy Speaker did make some announcements. Madam First Deputy Speaker recognized the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Masavo Trust School Limited in Lusaka District and pupils and teachers from Woodford School in Lusaka District. Madam First Deputy Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, warmly welcomed the visitors to the National Assembly.
Madam First Deputy Speaker also did acquaint the House with the presence in the Speaker's gallery of staff from the Parliament of Malawi, led by Chief Librarian Mr. Newton Mazekabanda and Ms. Grace Temwa Bongololo, Principal Research Officer. And Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, welcomed the visitors to the National Assembly.
After those announcements by Madam First Deputy Speaker, Her Honor the Vice President did present a bill. This is the Disaster Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 1 of 2025, a bill which seeks to amend the Disaster Management Act so as to integrate risk management in the prevention and mitigation of a disaster, preparedness and response to a disaster, and post-management of a disaster. These are just among others. And so the bill was read for the first time, and it has been referred to the Committee on Cabinet Affairs. The report of the bill will be brought to the House in due course.
And the House went on to consider two urgent questions under Standing Order 82. And just to go through one question, which was question 164. The question did come from Mr. Menyan Zulu, Nyimba Member of Parliament. He wanted to find out from one of the Vice President whether the government is aware of the electrical food shortage and hunger situation in the valleys, in the valley areas of Nyimba District. And in response, one of the Vice President did say that the government was aware of the situation. And in answering Part B of the question, where the Honourable Member of Parliament for Nyimba wanted to find out measures the government is taking to assist the affected residential and avert loss of life, one of the Vice President did highlight some of the measures which are being implemented by government.
Another question came from Kamfinsa Member of Parliament, Mr. Christopher Kangombe. He directed this question to the Minister of Mines and Minerals Development. He wanted to find out a question in two parts. In Part A, whether the government is aware that persons who were engaged in illegal gold mining activities in Mufumbwe and other mines are now living in destitution and may resort to criminal activities as a means of survival following their removal from the mines. The minister did say that government is not aware. In Part B, he wanted to find out if so, what urgent measures the government is taking to provide alternative sustainable economic activities for the affected persons in order to avert poverty and the potential rise in criminal activities. The minister did say that this is not applicable as government is not aware that persons were engaged in illegal gold mining activities in Mufumbwe and other mines.
Mr. Christopher Kangombe, Kamfinsa Member of Parliament, did ask a question to the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. He wanted to find out when title deeds will be issued to the farmers in the following farming blocks in Kamfinsa Parliamentary constituency. These are Katoka Mema, Misaka, A and B, Chinkalamu, Chipolopolo, and Kakolo. So the Honourable Minister of Lands, in responding to this question, did say that the Ministry of Land has not received recommendations to issue title deeds to the above mentioned areas.
Question 166, under Standing Order 80, did come from Milanzi Member of Parliament, Ms. Melesiana Piri. She directed her question to the Minister of Education. She wanted to find out in Part A when the exercise to determine whose teachers are eligible for the following allowances commenced. These are rural hardship and remote rural hardship. The Minister of Education did say the exercise was already determined from January to March 2025. In Part B, she wanted to find out at what percentage of completion the exercise was as of September 2025. The Minister of Education did say that the exercise had reached 90% completion as of September 2025. In Part C, she wanted to find out when the exercise is expected to be completed. The Minister of Education said that the exercise is expected to be completed once stakeholder consultations have been concluded. In Part D, she wanted to find out what the number of teachers anticipated to be eligible for the allowances at A is. The minister did say that the number will be determined by the final classifications of schools as rural or remote rural in accordance with approved criteria. In the last part of the question, she wanted to find out when the eligible teachers are expected to start receiving their allowances. The Minister of Education did indicate that the eligible teachers will begin to receive their allowances once the classification of schools has been finalized.
Yes, indeed. So those are some of the questions, understanding order 8 questions of order in nature, which were considered on the floor of the House today.
And after consideration of those questions, Kanchivia Member of Parliament, Mr. Sande Chanda, did move a private member's motion titled Introduce a National Heritage and Cultural Week, that this House urges the government to introduce a National Heritage and Cultural Week, and this motion was seconded by Nalolo Member of Parliament, Mr. Imang Kwamnyima, and after debate, this motion has been adopted.
Thereafter, the House did consider the Teaching Professional Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2025. The bill was read the time and passed.
After consideration of that bill, Kamfinsa Member of Parliament, Mr. Christopher Kangombe, moved a subject for debate on the motion of adjournment. This was titled Address the Deplorable State of Roads in Kitwe District, and after 30 minutes of debate, this motion has lapsed.
Yes, indeed, Matimba. So that was business which was considered on the floor of the House today. On behalf of my co-presenter, Matimba Mogoa, and of course our two sign language interpreters, my name is Joe Muyunda Akatama. Good evening and stay blessed.